Now let's discuss about the general character of Bryophyta. Normally Bryophyta live on land but they needs water for reproduction. So we do call them as amphibians of the plant kingdom. We call them as amphibians of the plant kingdom. So these are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. And normally it includes mosses, the advanced bryophyte, liverworts, that is the ancestor bryophytes, primitive bryophyte, and in between them we also find another bryophyte present that is called as hornworts. Normally bryophyte grows on moist, sandy and humid places because they need water for reproductions. So they are mostly found in moist, sandy and humid places. It is also found in hilly regions also. And as we have already discussed, it is the amphibians of the plant kingdom because they live on land but they need water for sexual reproductions. Now let's move into the plant body and its thallus organization. The plant body is a thallus. As we have already discussed, thallus means there is no differentiation of stem, leaf and roots. And it is more advanced than algae. And these thallus are attached to the object or any substratum by means of rhizoids. So rhizoids are false root-like structures, and the rhizoids is either unicellular or multicellular, because in mosses we find multicellular rhizoids and they are branched, whereas in liverworts we find unicellular unbranched. And true root, stem and leaves are absent, for which it is called as thyloids, which it is called as thallus or thyloid. Got it? They don't have true roots but root-like structure called as rhizoids, stem-like structure called as caulid, and leaf-like structure called as phyllids are present. But they are looking like stem, leaf and roots, but actually they are not true stem and leaves, for which we do call them as thyloid. Let's move into the life cycle. So when we move the life cycle, that contains two phases. One is the gametophytic stage, another one is the sporophytic stage. The gametophytic plant body is a haploid plant body, and by the production of mitosis they produce gametes, and the gametes is haploid. So the plant body is a haploid. And as the plant body is haploid, they produce gametes. So sexual reproduction is mostly present in the gametophytic plants, having the male sex organ that is called as antheridium and the female sex organ that is called as archegonium. And normally the antheridium is a tennis racket-like structure. The antheridium is a tennis racket-like structure. And this antheridium contains antherozoids as the gametes. This is the stalk present. But when we move on the archegonium is a cloud-shaped-like structure. They have the neck cells present, neck canal cells present, and egg cell present. So this is the archegonial structure, and they have an egg present at here. But here we find the male gametes are present, that is called as antherozoids. And normally the antherozoids present, these antherozoids are normally biflagellated. So these antherozoids are normally biflagellated in nature. Got it? So these having two flagella, these are the antherozoids or the gametes produced within the sex organ that is called as the antheridium. And normally the sex organs are multicellular and jacketed, means they are covered with jacket, they are covered with protective covering. They are covered with protective covering. The detail we have discussed in a long video. Now let's move to fertilization. So for fertilization, the antherozoids contains flagella. So with the help of the flagella, they swim in water and move to the egg to produce the zygote. And this zygote is the initial stage of the sporophytic plant, as we have already discussed in liverworts, hornworts and mosses. So zygote is the initial stage of sporophytic plant, and spore is the initial stage of gametophytic plant. So sporophytic plant is the two-end plant because zygote gives rise to sporophytic plant. And zygote normally gets attached to the gametophytic plant because zygote needs food materials and also they need support, water and habitat. So zygote depends on gametophytic plant. So zygote is dependent on gametophytic plant. So gametophytic plant will be a dominant phase. Got it? So these zygotes, these sporophyte are attached to the gametophytic plant for nourishments and to produce gametes, and they produce spores with the help of meiosis. So haploid spores are produced, and these spores germinate to produce the gametophytic plant. So spores as the initial stage of the gametophytic plant and zygote as the initial stage of the sporophytic plant. This is the major important part, and the detailed description will be present in our next video. And we have certain ecological importance. Yes. So normally when we are go to the chapter that is called as plant succession in ecology, we find they are the pioneer plants on rocks. That is means they are the first plant in plant succession, and they do help in succession of plants. They break the rocks and convert them to soil. Weathering of rocks is done by these lichens and these bryophytes, and from dense Mats, they prevent soil erosion. Very important. They are very compactly present on the soil and they do prevent the soil erosion. They reduce impact of rain. These are the ecological importance. And economic importance is very low because some are used for food for animals, but sphagnum is the very most important economic use because sphagnum produces peat. They helps in fuel, they helps in packing industrial materials because this sphagnum can hold water holding capacities present. So these are used for certain economic importance. And let's move the classification. It is divided into liverworts, that is the primitive bryophytes, the hornworts where the seta is absent, the horn-like structure sporophyte is the horn-like structure present, and mosses is the advanced bryophyte as we have discussed. So this is all about the general character of bryophytes. Okay, thank you for watching our video.